students, today we saw how to fill out the application for neutralization or the USCIS Form N400. First of all, you have to download the Form N400 from the website of USCIS. Then after, open the form in Adobe Acrobat Reader. These are 20 pages in this form. On the first page, first part is only used for USCIS. You have to fill out the form with the black ink, and some persons who are adopted by US citizens no need to fill out this form. Instead of, you have to fill out the form N600. The persons who are adopted by US citizen and for 18 years, at the age of 18 years, you are become the US citizen. So no need to these kind of, you can say, children who are adopted by the US citizen are automatically, or the information you provide on form N600 from the USCIS, you are automatically become the US citizen. Now come on the part first of this application, information about your eligibility. Okay, what is the basis why you are just fill out this form? First of all, you have to fill out your alien registration number in this box. You have to find out your alien registration number on the back of your green card or permanent resident card, or it is also present in your immigrant visa in your passport. After fill out the alien registration number, you're coming on the basis on which you are submit this application on the reasons. First reason, first of all, you are 18 years old. Okay, then you are a lawful permanent. The first reason is you are a lawful permanent resident, spent more than 5 years or at least 5 years in USA. Okay. Second reason is you are a lawful permanent resident and spent 3 years in the USA, and your spouse is a US citizen, and your marriage duration more than 3 years, and your wife at the time of your marriage, she is a US citizen more than 3 years. Then the third basis that you are a lawful permanent resident of the United States and you are the spouse of a US citizen, and your US citizen spouse is regularly engaged in a specific employment abroad. And if your residential address is outside the United States, you are filing under section 319B. Select the USCIS field office from the list below. If someone is filing outside the, you can say, USA, you have to select the office in which you are you want to be give the interview. Okay, just because of you are not residing in USA, so you have to come in the USA and giving the interview. So you have to choose the location in which you just want to give the interview. USC as a field office. Okay, then the D option on which you are just applied for this application are applying on the basis of qualifying military service. Okay, you are a marine or something like that, so you are just in the military service, so you are applied. Then other reasons, there's so many other reasons I cannot explain, but you have to explain what the reason you are just applying. But normally these two reasons or two bases are on which they are, you can say, permanent resident card holder applied for the passport or citizenship. Okay, information about you. The second part, in which you have to give your last name, first name, and middle name if any. Okay, and also the first last name in on your permanent resident card, and the first name exactly on the permanent resident card mentioned, and middle name if any. And other names have you used since birth, including nickname, alias, maiden name. If applicable, you have to provide there. It will not, you can say, come on your passport or your neutralization, but you just mention it if it is in some of the documents or other things. Okay, then name change. If you want to change your name, which is mentioned on the permanent resident card and other documentation, so you have to mention in the part 4. Okay, and you have to select yes. Okay, if you select yes, then this part 4 section is activated, and you mention your name, last name, new first name, and maiden name if any. Otherwise, most of the people take it no. Okay, now US social security number. Social security number you have to mention here, and USCIS online account number here if any and if applicable. Okay, gender, obviously male or female, date of birth, your date of birth, date of become lawful permanent resident, which is mentioned on your resident card. Okay, and country of birth or country of citizenship and nationality. These are two separate things. Sometimes most of the people's by birth is another country and their citizenship or nationality is another country. So no need to, you can say, mix it in it. On the 12th bullet point, do you have a physical development or development disability and mental impairment that prevents you from demonstrating your knowledge and understanding of the English language or civics requirement for neutralization or for the test purpose? So most of the persons take yes. If someone has the disability or some, you can say, mental impairment, so they say yes, or otherwise most of the people say no. So if you say yes, then you submit a complete form N648 medical certification for disability exceptions when you file for your form N400. Okay, an exception from the English language test. If someone have poor English or cannot hear or something other disability which gave them not understanding English, just like are you 50 years of age or older and have you lived in the United States as a lawful permanent resident for a period totaling at least 20 years and at the time you file your form N4. 20 years you are residing here, but you can your age is so much, you are aged person, so you have to put it yes. Otherwise, no. More than 55 years and you lived in the in USA in interval or total period 15 years, so you say yes. Otherwise you are no if you are not old. Okay, just like this. It's for old peoples who are not understand the English or just because of age factor or any other factor. Okay, Now, this is all about yourself, okay? And the part third, accommodation for individual with disability or impairment. It is regarding the person who are disabled and they want some, you can say, extra uh, favors from the USCIS, just like that, the interpreter or other. So, read the information in the Form 9/400 instruction before completing this form. In this part, are you requesting an accommodation because of your disabilities and impairment? Yes or no? Most of the people say no, just because they have no disability, but the persons who have some disability say yes. Then, deaf or hard of hearing request the following accommodation, like the sign language. Okay, so at the time of interview, at the time of you can say the test, they provide the sign language or something like that. Or if you are blind or low vision, you have to request for any person who can read it and just um, so on the page third, the part 3 continue, in which the C option, that I have another type of disability or impairment, for example, use a wheelchair or other disability, you have to mention, and the favor you want to from USCIS you have to mention here. Now, part 4, information to contact you. There is a lot of telephone numbers, daytime, evening, email address, and work telephone or mobile telephone. Okay, you have to mention here. Information about your residence. You have to give the information about your current residence in A, section A, and then just because of you have to mention 5 year, last 5 years, all accommodation you acquired, and in the, you can say, ascending order, first of all, current physical address, okay, your apartment, you lived in the apartment or state or floor, then city, county, state, zip code, okay, and if you are lived in outside the USA, you have to just mention your province or region, postal code or country, and the dates of your residence, that from to present. This is the first one, so they write the present, and you have to mention it here, month, day, and year. Okay, then the previous one, in the care of name, current mailing address. Oh, sorry, it's in mailing address also in the B, and the street name and apartment or floor or studio or city, town, county. This is same, like just because of it's a previous address. And then if you are lived another, so you just provide in C the third one, address, okay, and there's a E, there's a 5 addresses for you. You just mention that in 5 years how much, you can say, houses in which you reside. Okay, then part 6, information about your parents. If neither of one your parent is in United States citizen, then skip this part. Go to the part 7. If your parents are not citizen of America, so just skip this part 6. But if your one, either mother or father is a citizen of USA, you have to mention here all the information regarding your mother or father who is US citizen. Were your parents married before your 18th birthday? Yes or no? Is your mother US citizen? Yes. If you answered yes, complete the following information. If you say no, then go to item number 3. This is for those whose mother is not a citizen of USA, but their father is US citizen. Okay? So, and if you continue, the current legal name of your citizen, US citizen mother, last name, first name, maiden name, and the mother country of birth, mother date of birth, and date mother become US citizen. If known, if you know, okay. If you not, never mind. But it's alien registration number. If your mother has some alien registration number, you have to mention it. Okay. Then after that, information about your father. Is your father is a US citizen? So mention yes. And if you answered yes, so complete the form. Last name, first name, and the middle name. Then father country of birth and date of birth of father and date on which your father become a US citizen and the alien registration number of your father. Then, now coming on the part 7, biographic information. USCIS requires the biographical information regarding you, just like ethnicity is like one of the that you are Hispanic or Latino, or if you are not, so you just not Hispanic or Latino. Then race, you are white, Asian, black, or African American. American Indian or Alaska Native, Native Hawaiian or other Pacific, you have to mention here. Then what is your height, weight, eye color, and hair? Simple. Then information about your employment and schools you attended. If you are you are doing job, so you have to mention here. And if you are a student, you have to mention the school name here. Then the address of your employer or company or your school, okay, and city, town, state, zip code. And if you are outside the USA, you have to mention your school name here and also or employer, and provide the province of outside the USA where you where your company or school is reside. Situated, sorry. So, postal code, country, date from which you were just joined the company or joined the school, date of which you were just left the school or left the company, or your occupation. This is for only the employees. Okay. Now, the second employer or school name, third, and last 5 years your employee history or your education history you have to mention here in this part. Now coming on the part 9, time outside the United States. If you are residing in the United States last 5 years or last 3 years, you have to mention the trips which are you avail in last 5 years or 3 years. How many total days, 24 hours or longer, did you spend outside the United States during the last 5 years? You have to mention the total days, just like I mentioned 59 days outside. How many trips of 24 hours or longer have you taken outside the United States during the last 5 years? Hmm? 2 trips. Acha, list below all the trips of 24 hours or longer than you have taken outside the United States during the last 5 years. You have to mention the date you left the United States, then date you returned the United States. Did the trip last 6 months or more? You have to mention in this table, first of all, the last one trip, then the older one, and then after that it's going on for last all the trips which you have uh, did it in last 5 years. Okay, then the countries in which you just go, and also the days which you spent there. Okay, then part 10, information about your marital history. What is your current marital status? Are you single, never married, married, divorced, widow, separated, or marriage annulled? Okay. If you are single and have never married, so you have no need to fill out this section. You have to go to part 11. Okay. If you are married, divorced, widow, separated, or marriage annulled, you have to fill out this form, this part. If you are married, is your spouse a current member of U.S. Armed Forces? Is he or she is a Marine or Armed Forces um, member? So you have to provide yes. Or if it is not, so you just provide no. How many times have you been married, including annulled marriage, marriage to other people, and marriage to the same persons? Means how many times you married. 3 times, 4 times, 5 times uses, or only 1 time. Oh, it's very poor thing. Just you are married 1 time, but it's if you are married now, provide the following information about your current spouse. You have to provide the name of your spouse, current spouse, and current spouse previous legal name. Your current spouse legal name, and if if the previous legal name, if she, your spouse has changed the name, then other name used by the current spouse, nickname, aliases, etc. So current spouse date of birth in this, and date you entered into marriage with current spouse, or date of marriage. Okay, then we are now coming on the part 10. Continue. Its current spouse present home address. Obviously, it's if she is living with you, you have to mention your address, or if she is living another home, you have to mention it. Okay, and if he or she is lived in another country, you have to mention the country and region. Okay, and postal code of this country or region. Okay, current spouse, current employer or company. If your spouse is employee, so you have to mention the employer of your spouse name, and is your current spouse a US citizen? You have to mention yes or no. If you answered yes, then item number 6. If you answered no, go to the item number 7. If you say yes, then you have to provide current spouse is a US citizen. Complete the following information. At the birth, she is your spouse is US citizen, or It's just because neutralization on the basis of other things, so other. Okay. Date your current spouse become your citizen, you have to mention the date. Okay. And now on bullet number 7, if your current spouse is not a US citizen, complete the following information: current spouse, country of citizenship, and A number if any, alien registration number if any. Current spouse immigration status, lawful permanent resident or other. Okay. How many times has your current spouse been married? Now, so in this bullet, you have to mention that your spouse, how many times your spouse married before you. Okay, before your marriage. So, if this is the first marriage of your wife, so you have to mention 1. And if it's second marriage, you have to mention 2. Included 2. So you have to now if your current spouse has had more than 1 previous marriage, provide the information on additional sheet of paper. So this is the legal name of my current spouse, period spouse. Okay, the spouse, your spouse, period spouse name, last name, first name, middle name, and immigrant status of your spouse, period spouse, your citizen or lawful permanent resident or other, explain it, and the date of birth of the ex-spouse of your spouse, country of birth of your current spouse, spouse of your ex-spouse of your spouse. Okay, country of citizenship, you have to mention this detail in this form about the ex-spouse of your spouse. Now, part 10. Information about your marital history. Continue. Okay. Now, F. My current spouse, date of marriage with previous spouse, the date of marriage of your spouse, date my current marriage ended, your spouse, date date of end of marriage, you have to mention here. Then H, how many how my current spouse marriage ended with previous spouse, another, divorce, spouse deceased, other. Okay. And 9, if you were married before, provide the following information about your previous spouse. If you have been more than once prior marriage, provide the, just like that, you have to provide your previous spouse or ex-spouse name, whether your spouse is previous spouse is your citizen, lawful permanent resident or other thing, their date of birth, previous spouse country of birth, and this citizenship, and also the date of marriage and date of end of marriage. Okay. Then how marriage ended with your spouse, as your annulled with you, or divorced, or spouse deceased. Okay. Now part 10 is ended here. Now it's part 11, information about your children. You have to mention your children information in this part. Indicate your total number of children. You must indicate all children, including children who are alive, missing, or deceased, children born in the US state or in other country, children under 18 years of age or older, children who are currently married or unmarried, children living with you or elsewhere, current stepchildren, legal adopted children, children born when you were not married. In this section, you have to provide all of your children, which is life or death, or you adopted them, or your ex-spouse or your spouse, ex-spouse children, all the children. Okay, so first of all, you have to mention your current children which are residing with you, current legal name, the name of the children, and alien registration number if there is somebody, date of birth of your child, country of birth, and then address of your child where reside, whether with you or with his or her mom. You have to mention the address, and if the child is living outside the USA, you have to mention the foreign country address. Okay, and what is the relationship with you? Your biological child, stepchild, legal adopted child. Okay, so child 2 is current legal name. This is all information about your child. You have to mention here. Child 3, you have to mention all the information, repeat it, and address of the child 4, and there's 4 child's information you have to, or if you have more than 4, there's end of this form there's some part space given to mention to your more child if you have. Okay, now part 12. Additional information about you. Person applying for neutralization. Answer item 1 to 21. If you answer yes to any of question, include a type or printed explanation or additional sheet of paper. This kind of question, if you say yes, you have to clarify or give the reason why you say why, and about all the information you have to mention it. The most of the questions are just like some legal and authentic way you adopted in last 5 years or 3 years or not. Okay, so we just saw the questions and we just go through. Have you ever claimed to the US citizen? Obviously never. You are a permanent resident, you are not US citizen, so say no. Have you ever registered to vote in entering federal, state, or local election in the? No. Have you ever voted in the federal, state, or local election in? No. Do you know? Do you know? Have or did you have ever have a hereditary title or any order of nobility in any foreign country? Not willing to give up any inherited titles. These are titles if you have, so you say yes, and if you have no any titles, no. So, and orders of nobility that you have in a foreign country. In this question, they want to know the whether you are with your name some sir or any nobility or a hereditary title are included or not, and it's on your will that you are just want to be given up or not on the ceremony of neutralization. Okay, no or yes. Okay, so have you ever been declared legally incompetent or been confined to a mental institution? Obviously, you're not mental retard or something like that. If yes, so you have to mention the reasons and other things. Do you owe any overdue federal, state, or local taxes? No. Have you ever not filed a federal, state, or local tax return since you have become a lawful? If you not filed or miss, you have to say yes. If you are on the time, you file the, you can say, tax return, so you say on time, so you say no. Okay, if you answered yes, did you consider yourself to be a non-resident? If you answered yes, and did you? Oh, okay. If you answered the A question yes, huh? No, non-US resident. No. Okay. Have you called yourself a non-US resident on a federal, state, or local tax return since you become a lawful permanent resident? No. You never say that non-US resident. Okay. If yes, you have to provide all the things. Okay. I'm not saying that you just say no. You have, if you miss anything, you have to mention here yes and give the detail. Just because of this very complicated and sensitive matter. Okay. So no is normally we are all, you can say, on the time, all the IRS and tax returns. So most of the people say no. Have you ever been a member of, involved in, or any way associate with any organization, association, fund, foundation, party, club, society, or similar group in the United States or in any other location in the world? If you have, so yes, otherwise no. Okay. Have you called yourself a non-resident? This is no. Okay. If you say yes, so you have to mention the association or other things. Okay. About your association or in which you participate as a member. Then, have you ever been a member of or in any way associate either directly or indirectly with the Communist Party, any other totalitarian party, or terrorist organization? No. If you are, so you have to mention here. Say yes and tell them, because they have the records, man. They have your records. Do not need to hide anything. Okay. Now, 11. Have you ever advocate either directly or indirectly the overthrow of any government by force or violence? It means that you have any, you can say, suit against you or something like that. Just mention it. Okay. Then, have you ever prosecuted either directly or indirectly any person because of race, religion, national origin, membership in a particular social group, or yeah? No, yes or no. Between 23rd March 1933 and 8 May of 1945, did you work for an association in any way, either directly, indirectly with Nazi government, any government in, this is for, obviously, sorry, Second World War, some, after Second World War, they have to very careful about it, so you just provide the information, okay? Then, now, let's continue. So, were you ever involved in any way with any of following? Genocide, torture, killing, trying to kill someone, badly hurting or trying to hurt a person or on purpose. This is all things illegal uh, things or moves. So you have to mention it, what you do. Okay. You say yes, you have to mention why, when, and all the things. Okay. Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in any of the following groups? Military unit, paramilitary unit, group of people who act like a military group but are not part of official military, police unit, self-defense unit, vigilant unit, group of people who act like the police but are not part of official police, rebel group. You have to mention this. Okay. Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in any of following? Prison or jail, prison camp, detention facility, labor camp, any other places where people were found to stay. You have to mention that you are get job in any prison, jail, or other things. Okay. Yes, no, or otherwise. Just mention it. Were you ever a part of any group or did ever help any group, unit, or organization that use a weapon against any person or threatened to do so? So you have to provide that, whether you do it or whether you not. Okay? Just give the answer rightly and totally on the truth. They, USCIS and their all the mechanism, they know the truth. So you have to mention here. If something is true, you have to admit it. Did you ever sell, give, or provide weapons to any person or help another person sell, give, or provide weapons to any person? Okay, you have to mention yes or no. Okay, additional information about you. That did you ever receive any type of military, paramilitary, a group of people who act like a military group but are not a part of official military or weapon training? So you just provide that you have. Did you ever recruit, ask, enlist, sign up, conscript, require, or use any person under 15 years age to serve in or help an armed force or group? Or do you ever have any ever use any person under 15 years of age to do anything that helped or supported people in the combat? Okay, just give you, if any of them item number 22 to 28 apply to you, you must answer yes, even if your records have been sealed, expunged, or otherwise cleared. You must disclose this information even someone, including a judge, law enforcement officer, or attorney told you that it no longer constitutes a record or told you that do not have to disclose the information. You have to provide the information regarding the answers of the item number 22 to 28. So as I just previously say, you have to provide only truth. Okay. So this is application, man. This is the USCIS neutralization application. If you provide one wrong answer on the basis of you can say lie, so they reject it. So please provide right answer on the truth. Okay, though we started this. Have you ever committed, assisted in committing, or attempt to commit or crime offense for which you were not arrested? Okay, yes or no? Have you ever been arrested, cited, or detained by any law enforcement officer, included any immigration official or any official of the U.S. Armed Forces? Yes, sure. Yes or no? Have you ever been charged with the committing, attempting to commit, or assisting in committing a crime or offense? Number 5. Have you ever been convicted of a crime or offense? Have you ever been 26? Have you ever been placed in an alternative sentencing or rehabilitative program, for example, diversion, deferred prosecution, withheld adjudication, deferred adjudication. Okay. Have you ever received a suspended sentence, been placed on probation, or been paroled? If you answer yes, have you completed the probation or parole? And have you ever been in jail or prison? Have you, if you answer yes, below, how long you were in the jail or prison? Okay. 29. If you answer no to all the question in item number 23 to 28, then skip this item and go to the item number 30. And if you answered yes to any question in the item number 23 to 28, then complete this table. If you need extra space, use additional sheet of paper and provide any evidence to support your answer. So you have to mention why were you arrested, cited, detained, or charged. Mention there the date of arrested, cited, or detained. Then the city or state and total address on which you were just cited and or arrested. So you have to give all the information regarding your conviction or the sentence or the suspended sentence. All you have to mention here. And if say no, you have to bypass it. Now, answer item 30 to 46. If you answer yes to any of these questions except item number 37 and 38, included type or printed explanation on additional sheet of paper and provide any evidence to support your answer. Okay. This is, have you ever been a habitual drink? Okay, been a prostitute or procured any of for the prostitution? Sold or smuggled controlled substance, illegal drugs or narcotics? Been married to more than one person at the same time? And married someone in order to obtain an immigration benefit? Helped anyone to enter or try to enter the United States illegally? Gambled illegally or receive income from illegal gambling? Failed to support your dependents or to pay alimony? Made any misrepresentation to obtain any public benefit in the United States? Have you ever given any U.S. government official any information or documentation that was false, fraudulent, or any U.S. government official any information or documentation that false, fraudulent, misleading, then lead to the U.S. of government official to gain entry or admission into the United States to gain immigration benefits? Have you ever been removed, excluded, or deported? Or have you ever been ordered, removed, excluded, deported from the United States? Have you ever been placed in removal, exclusion, or recession or deportation proceeding? And removal, exclusion, recession, deportation proceeding, including administrative close proceeding. This is all the question regarding, you can say, negative things which happen or not. Okay, so give the answer on the truth. So 37, have you ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces? If you are the member of the Armed Forces, you say yes. And the 38 is, are you currently a member of the U.S. Armed Forces? If yes, then you answer, are you scheduled to deploy overseas, including to a vessel within the next 3 months? Refer to the address change section in the instruction on how to notify USCIS if you learn about the deployment plans after you file your form N400. Okay, and if you answered yes, are you currently stationed overseas? Okay, you just give the information, whoever is the member of the U.S. Armed Forces, just because of the date of the interview and the examination have to come within 3 months. So, have you ever been court-martialed? Have you ever disregarded? Have you ever left the United States to avoid being drafted? And have you ever applied for any kind of exemption from military service? Have you ever deserted from the United Armed Forces? And are you a male who lived in the United States at any time between your 18 and 26th birthday? This does not including living in the United States as lawful non-immigrant. Okay, between the 18 and 26, uh, if you are a immigrant, lawful immigrant, and you are not, you can say, if say you yes, then you have to, when did you register for the selective services, provide the information below. And if you say no, then do not need to give the yeah. And if you answered yes, but you did not register with the selective service system and you are still under 26 of age, you must register before you apply for neutralization and complete the selective service information. Or now you're 26 to 31 of age, 29 is of age if you are filing under INA section 319A, but you did not register with the selective service, you must attach a statement explaining why you did not register and provide a status information letter from the selective service. You have to do this if you are in the 26 to 31, and you just provide the reason why are you not registered in the selective services. Now, and it's answer item number 45 to 50. If you answered no to any of these questions, including typed or printed explanation and additional sheet of paper, provide any evidence to support your answer. Do you support the Constitution and form of government of the United States? Do you understand the full oath of allegiance to the United States? Are you willing to take the full oath of allegiance to the United States? If the law require it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of United States? If the law require it, are you willing to perform non-combatant services in the U.S. Armed Forces? Okay, then 50, if the law require it, are you willing to perform work of national importance under civilian direction? Yes, 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 yes. But if you are, you can say, have some disability, you say it's, but it's normally, most of the people say yes. Okay, applicant, statement, certification, and signature. Okay, this is the part 13. You have to give the statement that you are just giving the answer and fill this form only on the truth and the best knowledge of your. Okay, I can read and understand English, and I have read and understand every question and instruction on this application and my answer to every question. Okay, and this is the part in which you just show that whether you yourself read out and fill out this application, or you have some problems with English, so you just take some services of interpreter or any other person who just fill out this. So here you mention if you hired any or get some service of interpreter, you select the language which is in which he brief you, just like Urdu. Okay, applicant statement regarding the prepare. This is part for if you are not fill out this application yourself and you just hire any services of anybody who fill out the, so give the name of the person. Okay, yes. Okay, now I'm just okay, now it's continue part, the applicant certification, copies of any document. I have submitted exact photocopies of unaltered original document, and I understand the US may require in this paragraph you are just gave the information that you are know all the questions and answers and information on the truth, and you are a very bona fide applicant. Okay, I understand the USA will require me to appear for an appointment to take my biometric fingerprints, and I renewed and provide and authorized all of information in my application. This is a very important part. You have to read out and understand all this information and regarding the process of the neutralization, in which the, you can say, examination, the biometric fingerprint testing, and also the interview also. Okay, then here you sign and the date of sign. Okay, now part 14 is for the interpreter contact information. If you hire the services of interpreter, the interpreter's background, you have to provide the name and also the address of the interpreter and the telephone number and email address, and also interpreter have to sign that he knows he's fluent in English and gave you the the other language, and sign here date of signature of interpreter. Okay, then the part 15 is contact information about declaration signature of the person preparing this application. Okay, if you just get the service of any person who prepared this document, and you know it, you know the English, you know the language in which this application is, but you cannot fill it properly, so you get services. So the name of the preparer is here, address, and same like his, you can say, telephone number and his statement. Okay, that he is not attorney, and if he is a attorney, he will just show his background and sign it and date of sign. Okay, now part 16. Yeah, there is a note: do not complete part 16, 17 or 18 until the USCIS officer instructs you to do so at the interview. Okay, it's the signature at interview. No need to at the time of interview. You just the USCIS officer gave you the instructions, so leave it. Okay, it's all about after the examination. So here is so simple, so you can say very easy. Just read it and give the answers. Okay, and also if you provide any information, you have to provide the proof. There's another, you can say, video on my channel in which I provide the attachment with this neutralization form. You just check it out and properly attach the photocopies of the documents which are, you can say, affirmative with your all the answers of this form or the application for neutralization. Thank you so much. I think this is enough for you. Any other you have some question regarding this form, so go to the website of USCIS or just write the comments. If you like it, just subscribe my channel and like the video.